Hello guys, welcome to Black Audio's channel, and today we're gonna be discussing, as the title says, how to be a good parent. This is a discussion guided by questions, which means there will be questions and I will be answering them in my humble opinion. And so let's the show go on. This is just a reminder, but all my videos are just improvisation. I didn't write any plan and I don't even know the questions, so we'll be mainly answering questions like what is the definition of a good parent, or what's a good parent according to me, were my parent a good parent, what does it mean to be a good parent, I don't know what does it mean to be a good parent, I don't know if I'm repeating, but anyway, there are many other questions. I don't know yet which one I will talk about, but I will provide nevertheless in the time lapse the different question I will be answering. So let's go to the first question. What is the definition of a good parent? Personally, I think there is no such thing as a good parent or a bad parent, as more as it is just relative to who is describing that. If, for example, it's the parent who is describing himself, he can say all the time, I'm a good parent, or he might know that he is not a good parent. So that's the first opinion. I think the second opinion can be the child. How does he consider his parents? Are they good parents or no? For example, if a child respects his parents and he is proud of them, that definitely means for him that they are good parents. Don't you think so? So this is for the second opinion relative. And the third one is the community. For example, a child can still see his parent as good one, and the parents also see themselves as good parents, but the community see them as trash or bad parent because of, I don't know, their standards. If, for example, they are just poor family, they may be perceived as bad parent. I don't know, maybe because they didn't provide shelter and food for their child. And so this is for where it can be relative from. And now going to the second question, what I think makes a good parent from my perspective, or how would I educate my children? I think the most important thing for me is communication. If there is communication, you can understand your children better. And one form of communication that I like the most, and I don't see it often in the parents, and that is giving their child the why. Like, don't just give orders to your children just for the whim. Don't know how to pronounce it. Let me check it. Yeah, for a whim, like just for a whim. You need to tell them why. I see this in many parents. They tell their children to do certain things, to don't do certain things, but without giving them the why. So the child will just, if their parents aren't here, they will do that thing or don't do that thing that they were ordered to do. We see this a lot with controlling parents, like they are like gods to their child. So examples of giving them the why can be, if for example your child for example, plays a lot of video games all the time, instead of telling him don't play, tell him why should he don't play. For example, if it is to get better grades, so tell him to study more, not to just stop binge playing video games. So you can tell him you can at least study 1 hour per day, or do that on that. So give him the why. Why would he need to stop? So we don't just see you like a monster. You need to be communicative with your child. So even for himself, he become aware and dependent, and not only just like an animal that if he do the right thing, you applaud him, and if he don't do the right thing, you punish him. Another thing I think which makes a good parent is like they try their best in their own way. Like they try to be a good parents, like they give their children time and effort to them. Also with communication, as I said earlier, can make a parent see the good and bring the best out of his children. And so by communicating, he will give her children wisdom, and so they can rely on themselves more. Now another question would be, were my parents good parents? I think in their own way, I think about them as good parents, even though they weren't communicative behave enough like I will do with my own children. But I think there are many different ways to raise your children, and so they become in the end good children. So you can say that a good parent and the result is a good child. And so if I ended up being a good person, I think my parents were good at parenting, even if this is achieved by weird means, but we are just caring about the end result. So sometimes even parents who are not even communicative, but they show that they care in the important times, can be good parents as well, even if the child got more educated by the street or the school he is hanging on, but in the end, like, he ended up a good person, and so it was a good parenting, you see. And so the answer to the question, yes, I am proud of my parents, how they educated me, even though they may sometimes have used violence, which is I don't recommend. But sometimes the result justify the means, you see. So I grew up knowing what is wrong and what is right, and I think that's what's important. And if I were to talk about the negatives in my parenting, I would say, like, there is a limit sometimes when they talk. Like, especially, for example, my father would have, how to say, arrogance. It's not really arrogance, but like feeling of superiority, and like his orders are divine, like there is no way you can't obey by his orders. I think this is not a very good behavior to educate your children and bring them like trust and safety environment. But what I noticed by doing a conversation with some people, when I ask them how their parents were educating them, and then I would say, if you would educate your children the same way, most of them would say no, they won't educate their child the same way. I think as we grow up, I think we want to be the parents that we never got. For example, we will always try to do what we liked as a child when we become parent. You will see this even with orphans. For example, you will see if somebody is an orphan and one day became a parent, he will try his best to be the best parent possible ever existed, because just he wants to make for his child what he didn't have. So he will be lovely, caring, and in his own ways, in his own way, be the best possible version of what he can do for his child. And I think that's the most important thing when you are a parent. Now let's talk about something I heard from the internet, from a podcast one day, and it's about a technique you need to use if you are a father, for example, and that is called rough and tumble. This is like a situation without rules or organization, like a free-for-all. Like, you can, especially if you have babies around 3 years old or less than that, or between that and 6-year-olds, you like engage with them, like have a battle, like a free-for-all. If they have also siblings, like other brothers, they all play together. But for a mother, this will seem like a horrible situation, because she sees her child in danger. But that is not what the psychologist says. It says that this game can teach your children emotional intelligence and trust and empathy. You will tell me, why will they learn all that? Well, first of all, emotional intelligence will be learned. For example, if your child hurt another of your children, you will tell him that is bad. You look at your brother, look at how he's hurt, don't look away. I found this many times when children like hurt another child. They don't look at the sad child who is crying. They look away and keep playing. So you need to teach them to look at their brother or sister who is helpless and crying, so they can feel the empathy next time. They can see like what their actions have results in the other world, in the external world. And so by having this activity, by doing this activity, they will learn to feel the pain of others, and so learn to be more sympathetic, more empathy toward others. And also it will build a trust between you and your children, because, example, if you make your child fly high and then you catch it, you show them that they can trust you or even if you get him slip by and there is a bed like in the floor so he doesn't get hurt, you also show him that you are like not a perfect being. Sometimes it can slip away, and that is okay. He is not hurt. So it creates a safety and a trusty environment, you see. So I think this technique is worth mentioning in this podcast. I think this podcast needs to be divided into many parts. I will really continue with other questions in part 2 of this episode. I don't want it to be like very lengthy and a bit tired, to be honest. And so thank you for watching. Consider commenting your points about what I said, and if you have any suggestions about other topics, feel free to comment. I will try to do like episodes like this more often, like where I just really talk in some subject. It can be guided by questions. It can be good because the purpose of this channel is to be minimalistic, and so I will just do the audio and black screen, and it is a way for me to learn English and to be more and be able more to improvise when I talk. Alright, thank you, have a good day. If you really want an episode 2, tell me in the comments. Thank you, bye bye.